Welcome to Basketball Mechanics with Coach Greg. What is the difference between a mechanic step and a drill? This is topic 2 in my series on Basketball Explained. A mechanic step is created when I try to break down a complex basketball move into simpler parts. I'm trying to isolate a specific movement that can be challenging for a beginner. A mechanic step is a drill. It is just a specific type of drill that I want to distinguish from typical drills. While teaching beginners how to do a layup, I would see various ways their form was improper. Over time, with different students, I have isolated 8 movements or simple body mechanics that are prone to error by beginners. Ideally, I would only need to have a student do the mechanic step 1 to 3 times. They would continue to still practice the mechanic, but during a full drill in the future. In the previous video on topic 1, 3 pillars, I shared my story of a 7-year-old boy who would continue to slap the ball during dribbles. For 5 lessons, I kept going over simple mechanic steps of dribbling. On the 5th lesson, I tried a new mechanic step that finally broke his bad habit. I will repeat this drill hopefully only 2 more times, and then I will just have him do normal dribbling drills. In contrast, a drill can be repeated for weeks, months, or even years. Drills can be simple, like a mechanic step, but can also grow into a complex series of moves. At this point, I feel a Venn diagram will help show the differences and similarities between the two. The context of the diagram will be about underhand scoop layups. On the left side we have mechanic steps, and at the top we have underhand scoops while raising your knee. Now this is an isolated mechanic step that I would hope to only have to do once or twice with a student. And below that we have repeatedly practicing the reach step, then rewinding back to your original starting position, and then repeating this back and forth. This is another mechanic step that I would hope to only do once or twice in isolation. In the middle we have underhand scoops, especially the non-dominant hand, which is typically the left hand, doing those bank scoops and the straight ahead scoops from the first and second hash marks. For its simplicity, this drill is like a mechanic step, but for how long we would practice this, it's like a typical drill. I would have a student practice this for weeks, and probably months, especially for their left hand. On the right, we have 2 typical drills, one where we set up the colored cones and increasing distance from the basket, and the other is where we set up the cones at 5 different angles of approach for our scoop layup. Now this always depends on the needs of my students, but I would start off the first lesson by going over all 4 of the mechanic steps on the left side, and starting to do the mechanic steps in the middle, and maybe do the first official drill with the colored cones and a line in greater distance. Now if things go well in the first lesson, for my second lesson and for possibly months, I will just do the drills in the middle and the drills on the right. And after multiple months, I may stop doing the isolated mechanic steps in the middle and just be focusing on the drills on the right. Again, whether you're coaching yourself or others, mechanic steps are a way of thinking about how to simplify a challenging basketball move into smaller parts. You only need to practice these smaller parts in isolation for hopefully a short duration, like 5 or 10 minutes during 1 or 2 lessons. Think of it as basketball drills are an axe, while a mechanic step is a scalpel. If you found the video thought-provoking or helpful, please leave a comment and like the video. Also consider subscribing to my channel.